What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to do a review. I've never done a review before, so if this goes poorly, I'll try better in the future. But DamienSabers reached out to me over on Instagram and asked if I wanted to try out one of their sabers. And they gave me quite a few options there, but I picked out this Kylo one. I don't have any Kylo lightsabers or anything like that. Of course, I wanted to try out the one with the extra hilts and everything, but I want to do a full breakdown of this guy, show you everything it can do, try to do a review of the hilt pretty well. But I do have an affiliate link. Like I said, DamienSaber sent me this lightsaber absolutely for free. All the opinions in the video are my own. This thing is really good, especially for the price point. I think this one is $300, but this is the fully upgraded highest options you can select for this one. So like the longest blade, the XenoPixel, and I can't recommend this enough for $300. And every time I log in on the website, there's sales and everything. But like I said, they also gave me an affiliate link. So if you want to check that out, if after this review you want to pick up one of their lightsabers, if you use my link, I get 10%, I believe, of the sale. So make sure to use my link if you want to support me. I'll try to go over most of what this thing can do, and we'll just do a full breakdown. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Once again, this was sent to me for free by DamienSabers. Use my affiliate link if you want to go buy one after this video. So I got this in like 2 days after they shipped it. It was kind of crazy how fast it came in, but looking at the website, it says it could take up to 2 weeks to actually receive your order. So that's what I would expect if you order from them. The box is very simple. It has this kind of like ember burning kind of pattern on it. It's not, it just looks like it's printed on. There's no texture or anything, but the box is just holding the lightsaber, so I don't really care about the outside of it too much. It has this thick sheet of foam protecting everything. What you get in the box is a USB to SD card adapter, which is really nice to throw in. And then you get a USB-C to USB cable that you can use to charge it. And then you get this manual. Half the manual is about the actual app. The other half is just kind of generic about all of their lightsabers. So it is helpful, but it's not very specific to each lightsaber. So this one I had to kind of watch some videos on the website to get some more details. But it comes with the 2 side blades and the main blade, of course. The one they sent me is the XenoPixel version, XenoPixel 3.0. And it is the 36-inch blade, so it is very long. I think it's the longest option they have, but the XenoPixel was nice to include because I wanted to see how many extra functions that actually had. And of course, I think it's a version of the Neopixel, which is one of the best kind of versions you can get. Quick sidestep, so of course I didn't do any research, but now I did. So Neopixel refers to the actual blade, and XenoPixel, I believe, is the name of the soundboard. Also on the website, they do offer each lightsaber that I've looked at in something called an XRGB and a XenoPixel. The XRGB means it's baselit, so there's just a strong light at the bottom shining throughout the lightsaber. I think this is more preferred if you want a cheaper option, but also if you're doing some heavy dueling, you don't run the risk of actually breaking those light strips on the inside. But that's all for this sidestep. Moving on to the actual packaging though, this thing was packed really well, and you can see this big thick piece of foam actually kind of wrapped around the saber to keep it protected. So they sent me 2 bags of these grub screws with these Allen keys. I don't know if that's what they do for everybody, so you can have extras, or if they just accidentally gave me 2. But either way, there is extra screws anyways, so definitely lots of extras in case you lose any, and extra Allen keys to throw in a drawer forever. These side blades didn't really have any instructions about how to install. I found the easiest way was just push them in and keep rotating this blade until it went in as far as it could. I wouldn't try to force this in any further. I would just slide it in and rotate it until it looks like it's in the most that it can go, if that makes any sense. Like I said, there wasn't any instructions. There's not really any kind of divots to show you where to go, but it's pretty simple, and a couple of attempts to try to figure out where it actually goes in the furthest. For the grub screws, it had short ones and long ones. The short ones go into these side hilt pieces. You just plug it into this hole and screw it down. Both of the packs I got came with 2 Allen keys, so I had like 4 in total, so wasn't really worried about stripping those or anything like that. But once you get it in there, it's pretty sturdy, and definitely feels like it's not coming out anytime soon, even with just 1 grub screw in there. For the actual blade, it comes with 4 longer grub screws to screw it down. And what I like to do with these whenever I'm installing them is I push all of these in there and screw them down all the way, and then I back them out like 2 turns. So screw them down all the way and then unscrew them about 2 full turns. And that way it's actually seated in there, but it's not fully pushing on the blade yet. And once I get all 4 of these into the same position, I go around and tighten them all one at a time. So that way I can get a full even pressure against the blade, and not one side is pushing it in harder than the other side. You can also do like an X pattern to help out with this. Either way, I don't think this blade is coming out, and I think the screws, all of them went in pretty much flush, so it's not really that big of a deal if you just screw each one in fully in the beginning. But this is kind of a saber option, and if you get a different blade and the actual hold for the blade is any tighter, this will keep you from applying too much pressure on one point and potentially cracking it. So better safe than sorry. Just take your time with this and make sure not to over tighten. So if you push it and it feels like it's not going to go anymore, stop pushing it. After I got all those screws in, I just made sure everything was tightened down fully, and then I can finally flip it on to make sure all the blades work correctly. Taking a better look at the overall details here, it does look really nice. It is a more simplified version of Kylo's lightsaber. A lot of those details are not added onto here, like the chips in the actual hilt and the different weathering. But DamienSaber really kind of shows off the durability of their sabers on their website, so I believe that's the main focus here, is having something a little bit more simplified and a lot more durable. And so they kind of simplified the design overall, but I mean, if you're not really aware of what Kylo's lightsaber looks like, this is pretty recognizable immediately. They do have a red wire running through the body that plugs into this small hole up here, and the little metal clips holding it on are pretty durable. I couldn't really bend them with my fingers at all or anything like that, so I think they will hold up over time. This red wire kind of seems a little bit more fragile, but it is nice and rubbery, and it does bend really easily. And if that did happen to break, it seems like it's very easy to replace just with a regular red wire there, so I'm not really too worried about that at all. The button's pretty well hidden here on the side. It does kind of click when I don't want it to, but you can change that in the app. Later on when we get to actually looking at the app, you can make modifications about how sensitive that button is there and change it up a little bit if you do find yourself clicking it by accident too many times. The actual weathering on these cross guards here is really nice. It does look like just really heated up metal, that blue effect that's going on here, and it is pretty well painted on there. I don't know exactly how they painted on there, but it won't chip off with like any scratches or anything from me scratching at it, I guess. I haven't really taken a knife to it or anything, but it does seem very durable, and it hasn't really had any wear or anything while I've been messing with it. And there's this clip for your belt here at the bottom too. I think that comes off though. I haven't fully tried to take it off yet, but I do believe that comes off if you want to take it off. This red button here at the bottom, I don't know how to describe that. It just screws right off, and you can pull out the core pretty easily from the bottom there to charge it and get the SD card out if you want to do that. I do really like how this core is set up. The translucent plastic is a really nice touch. You can see everything in there. And they do have like a sticker wrap on this battery, which is kind of cool. Nobody's really ever going to see that, so I guess it's just details for you to look at when you pull it out to charge it. It is pretty simple overall, but it is really nice having everything in this like compact little cylinder here. I do like that a lot. And I kind of has me curious if I could actually slip these into other lightsabers and kind of just have one core and multiple hilts that I can switch it between. I don't know, there might be something I'll look at in the future, but right now it looks really nice. And this button here, I believe, is just the same as the ignition button or the regular button on the Saber. I believe it's just down here as well if you did want to switch it out later. Or if you connect it to a different lightsaber, you could have that button there as well. It slides in pretty easily. When I first got it though, this red button, I unscrewed it and I couldn't get that core out. And I was really confused on how to charge it because I thought the core wasn't removable at all because I just couldn't get it out. But then after I took it apart the other way, up here towards the middle, it slid out really easily from the bottom side after that. So I don't know if it's just jammed in there in the beginning, but I do believe that red button is where you're supposed to unscrew to get it out. But if it isn't coming out, you can pull this wire loose and then unscrew it here at the middle. And then you can slide the core out from this side as well. This one is a little bit more tedious because you have to move that red wire around. And you can see here also the connector for the actual XenoPixel blade to connect there, but you see the cores down there, and you can just pop it out the top rather than the bottom. And this is, like I said, how I had to do it originally, but after I did this once or twice, it started coming out on the bottom, so I guess something maybe just was jammed down there and stopping it from fully coming out. But getting it back together, I do really like the design. Like I said, it is just a simplified version of Kylo's lightsaber, but it's all metal, it's pretty heavy, and it's pretty solid feeling, so I'm really impressed. Especially those cores. Just buying the core from another website or something runs about $200 or $300 if you're getting like the fully upgraded one. This really simplified one would be like $100, $150. So this whole saber being right around $300, it does seem like a really good deal to me. And after I've been testing it for a few days, it functions really well. I really like how everything's set up, and I like how the app's set up. The hilt is definitely really well valued, and the whole saber itself is actually really cheap for what you're getting here. And so I am really impressed with this, and this will be a nice kind of display piece that if you have people come over or something like that and you don't want them touching your more expensive sabers or your more movie accurate sabers, this is definitely something people will probably be reaching for, just because Kylo Ren's lightsaber is such a cool design on its own. Alright, I wanted to show off some of the actual colors and different kind of effects and everything you can do with the saber, and I thought the best way to do it would be also to show off the app. They talked about the app a lot when they were offering this to me, and probably like 2 or 3 times they brought up the app. I really thought I'd prefer to be able to make these changes with the saber itself, but just having one button, it was very complicated and aggravating trying to pick out what things you wanted to change, like effects or fonts or anything like that within the saber itself. So the app does help out a lot here. And I wanted to go through some of these fonts that I really like. There's 34 of them, so there's a selection for anything you want pretty much, and you can always add more just with the SD card. But going through a few of them, here are some of my favorites that really caught my eye.
The Dark Sword. The Knight. Wanderer. The Protector. The Dark Empress. The Sun. The Third Hunter. The Master. Double Agent. Truly Lost. Wraith. Redeemed. Codex of Light. Cyber Terror. Dark Ages. Hatred.
So it was about this point that I realized that changing the font changes all the effects as well. I forgot to show that off with most of these, but once you change the font, it changes the blade color, the effect sounds, the ignition effect, everything like that. So if you see me click in a bunch of places, that's why.
Idol. The Learner. Whispers of Power. Moonfield.
There are also settings you can change for all of the effects, like blaster and force light effects. The ones that I found the most important, or I guess the coolest, were the hum light effects and the saber modes. So I wanted to show those off as well.
Fireblade. Steady. Unstable. Rainbow blade. Candy blade. Cracked blade. Pulse. Flash blade. Fire blade. Velocity mode. Torch mode. Blaster mode. Ghost mode. Broken ignition. Photon ignition. Stack ignition.
Then in the actual settings, you can change things like the blade length, the brightness, and the side blade setting. It doesn't really do anything. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, control those actual side blades, but it doesn't seem to do anything when I was testing it. So I'm not sure if that's working or not. For sensitivity and things like that, and different effects and different controls, there's so much in here. I keep messing with this and finding out new things about it, so it's fun to just kind of go through it all. But then you can actually set up your sensitivity for your motion controls, and I find this very useful because the swing on wasn't working for a while, and finally I just realized that my sensitivity needed to be turned up a lot. But it's mostly just the activate controls here, and there's 3 options, as you can see, with that, which are pretty cool to use when you're actually trying to swing it around and turn it on. And then here is where you can set up your light effects and your custom fonts and things like that. I really want to set up a custom font, so I'm gonna probably do a little bit of research and see how to do that and try to show that off real quick. I think it seems like it's pretty easy, so I'm gonna try that out real quick and we'll see if I can add a font onto here. You can also change your functions there as well. I didn't mess with it too much, but like the button timings and everything like that, I believe you can edit all of those there. Also, mine did have an update I needed to do real quick, so you can do that here at the very end. And it only took like 5 or 10 minutes, but definitely check for that as soon as you get yours out of the box. So I actually wanted to go through the process of adding my own font. You can see here I plugged in the SD card into the adapter, and once I open that up, all of the fonts here are just labeled by number. So there's 34 fonts on the Saber, there's 34 folders here. And ignore this setting old folder. I accidentally messed up some of my settings my first time attempting this. But each one of these folders just kind of contains a bunch of sound files. And then there's a config file here for what your blade color is going to be and other kind of details like that. I probably would not mess with that unless you know what you're doing. And then I guess here was the copyright material. So pretty basic here. It's just mostly a bunch of different sound files. And then if you get a little bit more advanced in kind of editing these, you can change the blade color for each one. But one website that was recommended a lot online was this Grayscale Fonts. He has a ton of free fonts. I don't know if it's just one person or a group of people, but they have a ton of free fonts on here. And so I also downloaded, this is what kind of messed up my SD card the first go around. I downloaded this Kylo Ren UI overhaul, and I kind of thought it was a font at first, and it was not. It changed all my actual settings for the configuration files so that now my lightsaber sounds like Kylo Ren. So later on in the video when I'm showing it off, it's going to sound like Kylo Ren. It's not supposed to, but I don't know how to reverse that. So I'm kind of stuck with it now, which, I mean, I like it. But so for downloading actual font, though, I do like this Crispity. I think it was called Crispity. Feels a little silly saying it. But I did download this one. I, of course, picked the Xeno 3 version because that's what the lightsaber is. And then after downloading it, I unzipped it into a folder called 35. So there's 34 fonts already on the SD card, so this is gonna be number 35. It was good to go pretty much straight off the jump. I just had to copy that 35 folder over to the actual SD card. One thing I didn't add too, you wanna make sure you shut your lightsaber off before you do this. You're just gonna hold down that the power button until it finally says shutting down or something like that. So I wanted to add a music track as well. It's pretty easy, just grab a music file in the WAV format and rename that to track space open parentheses number 1 or however many you have on there, and then close parentheses. Pretty easy, it just matches the same kind of layout as the other one. Once I eject the SD card, it's ready to plug back in the lightsaber and turn it back on. But as you can probably tell, once I turned the lightsaber back on, that font was loaded no problem. I just had to go select it through the actual fonts, and surprisingly, it was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to show off some of the effects here, but it's kind of hard to because I decided to film this at night, and my camera keeps blowing out the color. Thinking about it now, I probably could have turned down the brightness of the actual saber, but there's a tip drag effect. Once you hit the tip to the ground, it starts doing the drag effect. Also, of course, the clash effect. And any of those effects, if you want to keep them going, you can just hold down the button while they're going and it'll lock that on. So that continues for a little while. There also is different options of turning it on, like seeing here, this is the kind of swing option. I don't know why I kept trying it, but there's a swing option. And of course, since I had to reset my app, my sensitivity was really low on that. So I had to swing it pretty hard, but you can turn that up pretty easily. Also, there's the twist option, and then I think there's another one that's like a stab motion option. So all of them really cool. I really like the twist one. Going through these videos, it's just me constantly twisting it on and off, which is a really cool feature. I kind of got obsessed with it. But there also is a ton of other options you can do here. Like I accidentally initiated the color change mode here, where you can change the color actually just by rotating the hilt. It's kind of hard to get into this setting while you're actually messing with it, but it is doable. I've done it a few times. It's just something you gotta kind of train your hands to do or get your timing down right. And like I said before, in the app, you can edit all these settings. So if you do find yourself really struggling to get to a certain setting, you can adjust the timing and everything like that on there. I haven't tried it out yet. I need to get through it a little bit more, but I'm scared to mess this thing up before I finish this video. But there you can see I was holding down the drag effect and then also the clash effect here. Like I said, holding down that button really locks this on for a little bit until you release the button. So until this point, I had completely forgotten that I had added that soundtrack on there, but as you could tell, it's pretty easy to actually get it going. You just point the hilt up, and I think you twist clockwise to counterclockwise, or it's maybe the opposite. But anyways, it was really easy to turn on the track, and after I figured out how to do that, it was kind of all over. I think I have like an hour and a half of me just turning the blade off, turning the music on, turning the blade back on. Overall, my thoughts on the saber are it is really cool, and it is surprising how easy it is to do different things, especially with the app. The app is like pretty simple to get used to, but there's still a lot of options to change things up where you want to once you plug that SD card into the computer, and the app seems to just immediately take that. Like there's not really any kind of extras I have to go through when I added the font. Like I said, as soon as I turned it back on, that font was ready to use. So, and overall, the saber, while the hilt is a little bit simple, the actual saber itself has so many cool features and everything that I feel like even the couple of weeks I spent with this thing, just messing with it, trying to get a full review, I don't even think I've hit half of what you could do with this saber. There's so much you can do and so many different options. So 100% I recommend if you're in the market to buy a saber that's more durable than your average saber, and if you just want something you can swing around or just have all these cool features on something that you're not too scared to actually break, I definitely think this would be the best option. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to buy a saber from them, make sure you use my affiliate link. I get a little kickback from that, and make sure you go check them out. But like I said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Every time I start talking, here he comes. This is clearly a kind of a different type of video. I keep hitting that monitor, and so I wanted to try this one out, especially with these extra hilts and everything. I keep hitting that thing. Restart one more time.